Hi there. This is really weird for me to do. I'm a writer, and I don't really make videos, so, um, but I felt that it was necessary, and I have a lot to talk about. So I think I have like 3 videos or 4 videos, and they all kind of go together. But I guess the first one is just like an introduction. My name is Julia Grace Garfield. I'm 26 years old. I live in Oregon. I have 4 cats. um, I play the violin and piano. Um, I started my own nonprofit for like care kits, like putting together like menstrual products for people in need, and I got lots of donations, mainly from like organizations, and so I was able to get like reusable menstrual cups, and like we decorated like the tops of them really cute and made them all like individualized, and um they had like tampons, pads, pain relievers, sanitizing wipes, feminine wipes, and then menstrual cups. And then we had 2 different types of menstrual cups, one if you have had a child, and then one if you hadn't had a child. And yeah, it was really great. But obviously I didn't get paid from it. And I still was young, and so I still had like a lot of different things to learn. And so after a couple years, I opened my other company, Lovejoy Media. And basically, it's what I'm doing now, just like under a different name essentially. Like, I hadn't figured out what, I guess I was doing it. And so I build websites for people, and then I'm like their marketing manager. So I like write press releases, and send them to like local newspapers or journalists, or blogs, newspapers, magazines, whatever area you're specializing in, basically. And then I connect you with like different photographers or like people that I know that can help you. And that was really fun. I helped my friend. Her family used to own a family care home, and they were having trouble like getting clients and stuff. And so I made like a website. There's a local photographer, so we got like really good pictures of everything. Did like press releases. Well, I think just one press release. I met with her mom all the time to make sure like it's what they wanted and stuff like that. And they ended up, I forget who it was, but I think it was a magazine. And so they called me up and was like, oh, can we schedule like an interview with her or whatever. And so like the reporter came up to the house, and like I introduced them, and I was like, hey, have a good day, whatever. And they had an article posted about them, and then like their wait list was basically full since then. Just it was just because like people didn't know, like basically they were there. So I was really proud of that. And I guess I do a lot of other things too, but I was a music teacher, like a violin teacher, in high school. That was like my first job. But now I like kind of figured it out. I registered as an LLC, so it's like Julia Grace Garfield LLC. And I basically do the same thing, but it's just like more about me and what I want, I guess. And it's like more like, I don't know, I just feel more stress free about it, and I can just pursue the things that I want. So I still like do the website design, like marketing manager kind of thing. And then I recently like posted my website, juliagracegarfield.com. And I think I have like 3 articles, but 2 of them were like really hard to write. So that's kind of getting into the other part of like why I wanted to do this, I guess. So I was born in Guatemala, in Guatemala City, and the story that I was told at a really young age too, so I don't remember them sitting me down and like having a conversation and like, whoa, I'm adopted. It was just always kind of known, so it wasn't like hidden. But the story essentially was that my biological mom gave birth to me in the Guatemalan hospital, like the main one, and that she left me there, and that and then I was placed in an orphanage, and then my parents found me or whatever. And that's they are very religious, and they are very white, okay, and they're Mormon, which is a really big issue for me. Not too much anymore, but like I'm able to write about it and just it is what it is. I guess like I'm not ashamed to have like my opinion of it, I guess. I forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, so the story was like my parents have had 4 biological kids, and they were looking to adopt because God told them to, or like that their family wasn't complete when they had to go look for something. I don't know. That's all it always has been, basically, and they're religious, and so like I don't know. It's not like I don't believe them. Like I'm sure like in their mind that's what they believe. And so they had like an adoption agent or something like that. Like maybe, oh, never mind. We'll get to that. My opinions have changed a lot, and that's why like no one in my family is like talking to me, and that's like my choice because of many different reasons, which I think I'll get into probably in part 2, I guess. Follow for part 2. And so that was fine. Like I always knew like I was a little different. You know, obviously I didn't look the same as my parents or whatever. But during like the pandemic, obviously, like we had a lot of time on my hands. Everyone was in lockdown. So I just started like looking more into like my adoption and stuff like that. And I found this really like obscure website that like detailed like the lawyer that my parents used, and like her name is on my adoption papers and stuff. And the lady who ran my orphanage, they were both arrested for human trafficking, child trafficking, forging documents, and crossing border, like just a lot of different bad things. And I guess I never knew that. And on this really weird website, there were a lot of like archived links from like the 1980s to like the 2010. So there's like a lot of different information, mostly about the Guatemalan adoption, but that's like how like there I'm sure there's a different part of the website, but that was, you know, the website is like the dark side of adoption, or I don't know. So I like learned all this stuff, and how I learned like you know, about the Guatemalan Civil War, and how there is like the genocide of a lot of like indigenous Guatemalan people, and how they would trick people into like giving away their kid, like, oh, we're gonna take them to like a really good school, and you know, like a live-in school kind of. And a lot of the like the women, the moms, were taken advantage of, because it was for them, you know, it was a great opportunity for them to be able to like get certifications, or go to school for, or like, you know, get a license or something, while their kid is completely taken care of, you know. And so there was just like a lot of different stories of like it's like a hierarchy of like child trafficking. And I wrote about it on my blog, read it. But basically it just kind of changed a lot in my mind, and I started like processing it, and felt bad. So like I was like, dang, I need to go to therapy again or something. And I got accepted into a trauma treatment center, because like I'm fucked up. Not anymore really, but you know, a lot of like stuff that I needed to process, and like, you know, like medications and stuff, because I have like really bad nightmares to the point where I'm like throwing up in my sleep, so it's like unsafe like that way. And like yeah, it really affected me a lot. And there was no support with like my parents, Stephen and Lisa. We had like one dinner, and it was basically like they were silent, and they're like, so tell us. And I'm like, first of all, I already did, you know, like I was kind of like updating them, you know, as everything was going on. But that was like about it, you know. So like I found different Guatemalan support groups, specifically for like Guatemalan adoptees and stuff like that. And can you hear my cat Peter? Sometimes she gets sad if no one's playing with her. That's really sad. Peter, Petey, Petey. Sorry. So yeah. Oh, and it was, you know, I was living in my RV at the time with my cats. And it was like, you know, just a small little RV, you know, you had to like flush out like the toilet every couple weeks, and my windows leaked, and just, it was fun. I liked it. Like I really liked it. I liked that there was a lot of windows and on either side, and so it's like I could see nature a lot, and like, yeah, it was really fun. And I was able to like get a garden there and like grow stuff. And so it was a really good time, like just processed a lot. Like just thought about things and researched, and you know, just like, oh, that makes sense that I have like an avoidant attachment style, or like that's why I was like and you know, just like stuff like that, you know, normal stuff, but also just stuff with like trauma and things. And a big part of it is that my, like, being Guatemalan or being, like, indigenous, that was never anything, like, talked about until I, like, it was literally, like, at 21 or something, like, just old, you know? And, we never talked about race or racism, you know? Their motto was, like, just treat them the same. And, like, the first time I talked about, like, racism or brought it up, like, someone called me a spick. And I was like, damn, no one's ever said something like that to me before. Hold on. Peter! Peter! Petey! I don't know. Why are you sad? Yeah, but why are you sad? Sorry. These are beep. Beep. I forgot again. I genuinely don't remember. That's always happens with my cats. I'll just get distracted. Yeah, research, whatever. So I wrote about it in, like, a couple different articles on my website, and I talked about, like, the hierarchy of it and, like, who was involved, like the lawyers, and first of all, I met the lady who ran my orphanage in person in Guatemala, like, when I was 13, 14 or something. I met her in person. And I went back to the orphanage that I supposedly was from. And I didn't know any of that back then. So I was like, oh my God, this is so cool or whatever. And I found pictures of that. And there's a picture of me and my parents, like, in the backyard, just like, and she, Helen, was in the background, like, in the corner, like, so creepy, just standing there, like, watching us. Like, yeah, just so creepy. And she's a white lady from, like, Ohio. Okay, so I don't know why she's running an orphanage down in Guatemala in the early 1970s to, like, 1990s or whatever the fuck. Anyway, so yeah, she was arrested. And then the lawyer that my parents used, like, Susanna, blah, 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 because she used a lot of aliases, but she was married to the head of the Supreme Court in Guatemala, so she was, like, high up there, and she was a lawyer, whatever. So she had a lot of power and a lot of money. And it goes into a lot of detail on that in my story or whatever, or in my blog. But I wanted to talk a lot more about how, like, the Mormon religion has, like, damaged, like, my not even damaged, like, my family. Like, I don't respect them. Like, I just, it's a really racist religion, very much, like, colonial stuff, and, like, I'll go into it because I wrote stuff out, but, like, Joseph Smith was, like, a known fraud. They say some really gross things about being Native American and being Black, and how, like, God cursed our skin because we were evil, and that's, like, why we're dark skinned, and, like, they wanted us to be, like, white. I don't know, just a lot of different things. But that's what I'm gonna talk about next in my next video, part 2. But that's kind of not exactly who I am, because I am a lot more than that, but that's kind of my first video, I guess. But yeah, more in part 2. Bye.